Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. There is no personality like God in the universe on this earth. Because God is an omniscient, omnipotent, He is knower of everything. Each and every place occupied by God. All Vedas are describing the God without personality. They are fundamentally describe the features of God. Vedas, Puranas, everything describe God is super personality. No other is like this. Because God is always God. Basing on today, I take there is no personality like God. Let us see with prayer. Shiva Shankara Rudresha Neelakanta Trilochana Itirayanti Nityam Nahitan Badate Kalihi. The earliest statement of the nature of reality occurs in the first book of the Rig Veda. Ekam sat vipraha bahudha vadanti. The one being, the wise diversely speak of. The 10th book of the Rig Veda regards the highest conception of God, both as the impersonal and the personal. The Purusha Sukta proclaims that all this universe is God as the supreme person, the Purusha with thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of limbs in his cosmic body. Sahasra Sirusha Purusha Sahasracha Sahasrapat. He envelops the whole cosmos and transcends it to infinity. The Naradiya Sutta states that the Supreme Being in both the unmanifest and the manifest existence as well as non-existence, the Supreme Indeterminable. The Narayana Sutta exclaims that whatever is anywhere, visible or invisible, all this is pervaded by Sriman Narayana within and without. The Hiranyagarbha Sutta of the Rig Veda declares that God manifested himself, the collective totality as it were of the whole of creation, animating it as the supreme intelligence. The Shatarudriya or Rudra Adhyaya of the Yajurveda identifies all things, the high and the low, the moving and the unmoving, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly, nay, every conceivable thing with all pervading Shiva or Rudra as the supreme God. The Ishavasya Upanishad says that the whole universe is pervaded by Ishvara or God, who is both within and without it. He is moving and unmoving. He is far and near. He is within all these and without all these. The Kana Upanishad says that the supreme reality is beyond the perception of the senses and the mind, because the senses and the mind even visualize and conceive only the objects, while reality is the supreme subject, the very precondition of all sensation, thinking, understanding, etc. No one can behold God because He is the beholder of all things. The Kathopanishad has it that God is the root of this tree of world existence. The realization of God is regarded as the supreme blessedness or Shreyas as apart from prayers or temporal experience of satisfaction. The Prasnopanishad says that God is the supreme Prajapati or creator, in whom are blended both the matter and energy of the universe. God is symbolized in Pranava or Omkara. The Mundaka Upanishad gives the image of the Supreme Being as the one ocean into which all the rivers of individual existence enter and with which they become one as their final goal. Nadinam Sagarogatihi Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Pratigachati. The Mandukya Upanishad regards the Supreme Being as Turiya or transcendent consciousness beyond the states of waking, dreaming and deep sleep. Avastatrayam. The Taittiriya Upanishad regards the reality as the Atman or the Self, beyond the physical, vital, mental, intellectual and causal aspects of the personality. It also identifies this Atman with the Supreme Absolute or Brahman. The Aitareya Upanishad states that the Supreme Atman has manifested itself as the objective universe from the one side and the subjective individuals on the other side, in which process factors which are effects of God's creation become causes of individuals' perception by a reversal of the process. The Chandogya Upanishad says that all this universe is Brahman, manifest in all its states of manifestation. It regards objects as really aspects of the one subject known as the Vaishwanara Atman. It also holds that the Supreme Being is the infinite or Bhuma, in which one sees nothing else, hears nothing else except the Self as a only existence. Now, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we are told that Supreme Being is pure consciousness in which subjects and objects merge together in a state of universality. The Supreme Being knew only itself as I am, inclusive of everything, as He is a knower of all things. No one can know Him except as He is. The Svetashvataropanishad says, Thou art the woman, thou art the man, thou art girl, thou art boy, thou deceivest us as the old man tottering with the stick. Thou movest everywhere in the form of everything, in all directions. Thou art the dark blue butterfly and the green parrot with red eyes. Thou art the thunder cloud, the regions and the oceans. Thou art without beginning and beyond all time and space. Thou art that from which all the universities are born. That alone is fire. That is the sun. That is air. That is the moon. That is also the starry firmament. that is waters, that is Prajapati, that is Brahman. That divine being who, though himself formless, gives rise to various forms in different ways, with the help of his supreme power for his own inscrutable purpose, and who dissolves the entire universe in himself. In the end, may he endow us with a pure understanding. He is a great being who shines effulgent like the sun beyond all darkness. Knowing him alone, one crosses beyond death. There is no other way of going over there. The one God, creator of the heaven and earth, is possessed of all eyes, all faces, all hands, and all feet in this universe. It is He who inspires all to do their respective functions, as if fanning their fire into flames of movement. Manu says in his Smriti, that is Manusmriti, in the beginning, all this existence was one undifferentiated mass of unmanifestedness, unknown, indefinable, unarguable, and unknown in every way. From this supreme condition arose the universe of name and form through the medium of the self-existent creator Swayambhu. The Mahabharata says that Narayana alone was in the beginning, who was a previous of the creative, preservative, and destructive principles, the trinity known as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The Supreme Hari, multi-headed, multi-eyed, multi-armed, multi-footed, and multi-limbed. This was the Supreme seed of all creation, subtler than the subtlest, greater than the greatest, larger than the largest. And all the gods, more resplendent than the sun and the moon, and more internal than even the mind and the intellect. He is the creator, the Father Supreme. The Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata says, the Supreme Brahman is beyond existence and non-existence. It has hands and feet everywhere, and it exists enveloping everything undivided. It appears as divided among beings. Attributedness, it appears to have attributes with things. It is the light of all lights, beyond all darkness, and is situated in the hearts of all beings. He is a sacrifice, He is oblation, He is a performer thereof. He is a recitation or the chant. He is a sacred fire. He is what is offered into it. He is the father, the mother, the grandfather, the support, the one knowable thing. He is the three Vedas, the goal of all beings, the protector, the reality, the witness, the repository, the refuge, the friend, the beginning, the middle, and end of all things. He is immortality and death, existence as well as non-existence. He is a Vishwarupa, the cosmic form blazing like fire and consuming all things. According to Pancharatragama and the Vaishnava theology, God has 5 forms. The Para or the transcendent, Antaryami or the immanent, Vyuha or the collective, Vibhava or the incarnation, and Archa or the symbolic form of daily worship. According to Saiva tradition, God is Pati, the Lord who controls the individuals known as Pashu with his power known as Pasha. According to Shakta tradition, God is the divine universal mother of all things, Adi Shakti, or the original creative power, manifesting herself as Kriya Shakti or Durga, Icha Shakti or Lakshmi, and Jnana Shakti or Saraswati. But the Supreme Mother is beyond all these forms. She is one, alone, without a second. To the Vaishnavas, God is in Vaikuntha as Vishnu. To the Saivas, God is Kailasa as Shiva or Rudra. To the Shaktas, God is in Manidvipa as a Supreme Shakti or the Divine Mother. To Ganapatyas, God is Ganesha. To the Sauras, God is Surya, the sun. To the Kaumaras, God is Kumara or Skanda. All the Vaishnava saints worship him as either Rama or Krishna, Narayana or Vishnu. The Shaiva saints worship him as Paramashiva. The Shaktas worship him as Adi Parashakti. The philosophers saints worship him as Brahman, the Absolute, as Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha and Virat or cosmic being. The Veera Saivas worship God as Shiva, especially manifest as the Linga. The symbol of Vishnu is Saligrama. The symbol of Shiva is the Linga. The symbol of the Devi is the Yantra. According to the Nyaya and Vaiseshika schools, God is the instrumental cause of creation, like a potter fashioning a pot of clay, but not the material cause of creation. The Sankhya philosophy holds that there are only 2 primary principles, Purusha and Prakriti, and creation is only a manifestation or evolution of the constituents of Prakriti due to the action of Purusha's consciousness. There is no other God than these 2 principles. The Yoga school of Patanjali accepts God's existence as a special Purusha free from all afflictions, karma, the effects of karmas and impressions or potencies of a binding nature. But this Purusha, known as Ishvara according to Patanjali Yoga system, is not the creator of the world, but a witness thereof. Nor is he goal of the aspirations of the jivas or individuals. The Yoga Vasishtha defines reality as a consciousness which is between and transcends the subjective and objective aspects in perception and cognition, etc. Consciousness is the absolute Brahman, the only existence of which the world is only an appearance. The Brahma Sutra states that God is that from whom this universe proceeds, in whom it subsists, and to whom in the end it returns. Kalidasa in his Raghuvamsha and Kumara Sambhava points out that God is the supreme being, is prior to the forms of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, who are three aspects or phrases of God, and that Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, being three forms of one and the same reality, are equal to one another in every aspect, without inferiority or superiority among them. Bhartrihari prays to that infinite consciousness which is a peaceful effulgence, which is undifferentiated by the interference of space, time and causal relation, etc., and whose essence is self-experience alone. Madhusudana Saraswati blends Advaita Vedanta and Bhakti Rasa, and he is the author of the most polemical and authoritative Advaita text known as the Advaita Siddhi, and of unparalleled compendium of the various processes and stages of devotion to God, known as Bhakti Rasayana. His commentary on the Bhagavad Gita is a movement of the fusion of knowledge of the impersonal absolute with devotion to the personal God. Religions are found on a metaphysical rock, brother. There is a philosophical import behind very ethical canon. Generally, the tradition of worship of deities in India is according to a sort of protocol which the devotees associate with the importance of the deities. For example, worshippers of a particular deity such as Vasudeva, Ganesha, Shiva, Vishnu, Surya or Skanda will place their own or Skanda, Surya, everyday deity as secondary. There is another tradition according to which the order of worship places Ganesha as the first to be worshipped on any occasion, and then Devi, Shiva, Vishnu, Surya and Skanda. This order may get slightly changed in different manner. Logical arrangements according to the festivals that come one after the other, seriation during the course of the calendar of the year, that is, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. The functions and festivals repeat themselves every year on specific days and dates. Thus, the order in which functions or the deities of worship are mentioned here follow their calendar wise chronology. In class this past week, we discussed the meaning of life. In this post, I would like to discuss the meaning of life based on Hinduism. According to Hinduism, the meaning of life is fourfold: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. To achieve all these four, we require God's blessings. The first, Dharma, means to act virtuously and righteously. That is, it means to act morally and ethically throughout one's life. However, dharma also has a secondary aspect. They, since Hindus believe that they are born in debt to the gods and other human beings, dharma calls for Hindus to repay this doubt or this debt. The 5 different debts are as follows: debt to the gods for their blessings, debt to parents and teachers, debt of gurus, debt to other human beings, and debt to all other living beings. The second meaning of life, according to Hinduism, is artha, which refers to the pursuit of wealth and prosperity. According to sacred texts, such as the Vedas and Bhagavad Gita and various stories, devotional poetry, and the interpretations of widely respected in Hindu spiritual teachers, both past and present, Varna is based on one's character and ability to contribute to well-being of others. Guva influences and Chhatrapati Shivaji. Guna influences and characteristics. According to Hindi philosophy, everything in existence exists of 3 inherent qualities, and one's varna is determined by varying combinations of 3 guna: sattva, rajas, and tamas. The 3 guna manifest at varying levels and under varying circumstances. They are understood to influence the individual at 3 levels of worldly existence: physical, psychological, and spiritual. Guna influences both non-sentient and sentient life forms. In human birth, varying combinations of the 3 guna presents as characteristics associated with each guna are as follows: Sattvic, good and intelligent energy which brings about balance, harmony, compassion and selflessness. Rajasic, dynamic and active energy which brings about restlessness, change, passion and self-centeredness. Now, tamasic, cyclical and fixed energy which brings about rest, heaviness, apathy and self-centeredness. Rajas and tamas have both positive and negative aspects. Some schools interpret rajas as the opposite of tamas, while others hold sattva and tamas to be opposites. Regardless, the goal of religion is expanded as status. And because guna manifests in the form of desires, likes and dislikes, the ultimate goal is to transcend all 3 gunas. Guna are integral to the understanding of varna. The varying levels of the 3 gunas are seen as indicators of varna, are the best way in which an individual can serve society based on this temperament and innate tendencies. For example, personality type. In other words, different personality types are unreasonably to ensure society which can live comfortably, cooperatively and in harmony. Those associated with each varna was expected to contribute to the betterment of society in their own ways. and spiritual rewards of Gayatri were said to come to those who best fulfilled their own obligations as required by their Varna. Modern Hinduism evolved from the ancient Vedic traditions, prominent themselves in Hinduism. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are called four Purusharthas. Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism all share some traits in common with Hinduism. As all these religions originated in India and all focus on self improvement, with the ultimate aim of attainment personal spiritual experiences. Shri Kanta Kalyana Nidhi Dive Nivasa Srinivasa Mangala Mangalasa Sarve Madacharya Brahmi Sarvesha Purve Racharya Kutayastu Mangalam.